it's Ash from Super Videos back for another video. This is gonna be my review and discussion for Season 7 Episode 12 of The Walking Dead, which was called Say Yes. So this episode, of course, was very slow. I actually didn't enjoy this episode as much as I did the last episode. Of course, the last episode was slow as well, but there was just something about this episode and the way it was structured, and because it didn't really move the story forward a lot and it was a lot of filler, I felt like it didn't live up to expectations. So I definitely feel like this was a weak episode, and of course we were bound to get a weaker episode in this half season, and this episode ended up being the slow episode of this half season. I'm pretty sure we're gonna get another one. So this is episode 12. So 13, 14, 15, 16, 4 episodes left. Out of these 4, I think at least one of them, most likely episode 14, is going to be the slower episode. Then there's going to be 2 slow episodes. Every half season, it seems like they have at least 2 very slow episodes, and this was one of them. But just to get to this review, we have Rick and Michonne on the supply run to find weapons. They come across these saviors who are playing golf, and they're talking about Fat Joey, so we know they're definitely the saviors, but they end up not noticing Rick and Michonne, so they're able to get away. But I think Rick and Michonne grabbed some of the radio from there. I might have missed that, but I think they do grab some of the radios. But it was cool to see some of the saviors in this episode, even though they were there for like 2 seconds, and they didn't really change the episode that much. And then going from there, we have Tara and Rosita talking about how Rosita wants to get weapons and things like that. She can't wait for others. Rosita in this episode was very annoying. I was very much looking forward to seeing a transition from Rosita's stubbornness and I can do everything by myself to a more realistic and rational Rosita, but we didn't get that. Rosita kept her bitchy attitude in this episode, and it was just very annoying for me. I hope by the end of this season they do redeem her character a little bit, because it seems like ever since the first episode she lost Abraham, and ever since then she's been on this journey to just flip everyone off basically and act like she can do everything by herself. So it's a bit annoying, but we do get a conversation between them. We have Tara being extremely rational, talking to her, and Rosita is just acting like she can do everything by herself, basically, which is annoying. But moving away from that, we have Rick and Michonne coming by this military outpost or something along those lines. There's like a carnival in the back of it, and it's like there's a lot of military personnel, so they know that there's probably a lot of weapons, a lot of food there. So they end up risking it a little bit and investing a lot of time and risking their lives to get some of these supplies. They get to the top of the roof and then it collapses, which was very cool to see. Now, the timing of that was a bit off because it seemed like there was a lot of intensity. They fall, it goes to commercial, it comes back, and we just see that it's okay. So they could have dragged that specific sequence a little bit for us to think something may have happened, because of course they didn't do that quite well. They did it very well in the next one that I will discuss, but in this specific one with the fake out, it didn't work for me. It wasn't that great, but it was cool that they fell down, they found these piles of food, and then going from there we have Rosita trying to find weapons. She's unable to. She goes back to Alexandria. She has this discussion with Father Gabriel. Again, Rosita is just being a bitch, but Father Gabriel is being very rational. Again, redeeming himself as a character, telling Rosita about his stance on things and what he meant when he told her that you should go out there and get yourself killed, that we need you, things like that. I really like what Father Gabriel said. On the contrary, I hated what Rosita said because it made no sense whatsoever. So she's just blaming everyone and she's not sitting down and reflecting on what she's doing and how she's gonna get everyone killed. She may end up getting Sasha killed at this point as well, but we'll get to that. So of course we have Rosita basically telling Father Gabriel that it's your fault. Father Gabriel not taking any of it and telling Rosita that it was actually your fault. So I really loved that. And then going from there, we get back to Rick and Michonne, and we have this discussion between them about what they need to do. So they say basically that they need to destroy the Saviors, they need to kill Negan, and then once Negan is gone, Michonne says, what's next? And Michonne basically says, you should be leading. You should be what Negan was, but you shouldn't rule with an iron fist like Negan did. It needs to be a cooperation instead of just eliminating everyone who disagrees with you and killing everyone, like what Negan is doing. But of course we have Rick saying that we need to do it together. It needs to be us, not just me. So I really love that. I felt like that specific sequence with them and that discussion between them was very cool. I really liked it, and it moves both of their story and development in terms of character development forward, and I really love that. And then we get back to Alexandria. We have Tara talking to Judith. They have this really deep conversation. Obviously it's just coming from Tara, but it's very deep. She's basically talking to herself in a way, trying to decide whether or not she should actually tell Rick about the Oceanside or not. I really loved what Tara said because she put everything together, because previously I was thinking that how are they gonna do it, because the Oceanside doesn't want to fight, but then they have a lot of people and things like that. So Tara kind of put things into perspective for me at least. And she made me realize that even if Rick and the others go there, the Oceanside are not going to want to join. They've been hiding all this long, and they're not going to join into whatever war Rick has planned just like that. So it's going to be very difficult. So I really loved what Tara was saying. So that was very cool. And then we have the sequence with Rick and Michonne afterwards, when they're trying to get to the car, to the carnival. There's a lot of close calls there with the car. Rick trying to get the walker out of the car. One of the walkers with the gun kind of shooting. It just added a lot of intensity to the episode. Of course, we knew that Rick and Michonne were going to make it, because of course they have such a thick plot armor. But it was cool to see regardless. And of course, we end up seeing them getting a lot of guns, which was very cool. But one more thing I want to say, even though we know that, like I said, Rick and Michonne have this huge or thick plot armor, that specific scene where Michonne thinks that Rick is dead, there's someone getting devoured right in front of her, we don't see who it is, Michonne drops the sword, the katana. That whole thing was very well done in my opinion, because even though I knew that none of them were gonna die, at one point, there was like a few seconds, I was like, are they gonna kill one of them off? So if that's the feeling I got, that means that they did a very well job trying to convey the idea that one of them could go at any moment. So I really loved that, even though I knew they were both gonna make it, but I really loved that specific scene. Of course, we have Rick getting all of the guns, so there's a lot of guns now that they can give Jadis and the Junkyard, so that's cool. But of course, we have another emotional scene in this episode after Rick talking to Michonne about what should happen after Negan is gone. This is the second point that was very deep in terms of conversation. And also Tara talking to herself as well. But for Michonne and Rick, this is the second deep conversation between them, where Rick is basically saying that Glenn helped me, he saved me at the beginning of the outbreak, I wasn't able to help him, and in a way Rick is blaming himself a little bit and he's feeling a bit guilty. So I really love that. I feel like that moves his character forward, and it's going to be very interesting to see this come into play in the future as well. So I want to be able to see Rick down the road in a few episodes again, reflecting on what's happened, and it shouldn't be something that's forgotten quickly. For Rick at least, Glenn was very close to him, so I want this to always be on Rick's conscience, that he may have been able to save both Abraham and Glenn. I did want to see Rick mention Abraham too, but I guess he doesn't feel that connection to Abraham. But it was a cool scene regardless. And of course we have Rick saying it's not just about us, it's about a future, it's about Judith and Glaggy, or Glenn and Maggie's baby, or baby Herschel, or whatever they end up calling the baby. But I really loved that specific scene and their conversation. But then we have them taking all of that gun to Jadis and the Junkyard community, and boom, we have Jadis saying, we need more. So Jadis is slowly starting to annoy me. I was hoping that they were going to become more likable characters, But in this episode, we saw that they're still the weird group that they were, and there's just something odd about them. I just don't like them. I don't know why. I so wanted Rick to just beat her ass, beat her up, 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 as she would say, but of course he doesn't. But it's just something about Jadis and this community that doesn't feel right. I don't know what it is about it. It might just be me, but it doesn't feel right. But of course, we have the conversation about them trying to make the deal, and of course, Rick says, say yes, and Jadis says yes at that point, so that's where the title comes from. Now, I was originally thinking that the title, Say Yes, it's something about Rick proposing to Michonne. Obviously, that's not gonna happen, but I was hoping that this Say Yes in the title was gonna be more big and more relevant to the episode. Say Yes in that context, it didn't feel like it was that big of a deal for it to be the title of the episode. But of course, the episode ends with Rosita talking to Sasha, and they basically make this plan to go to the sanctuary, a suicide mission in a way, to take Negan out. We all know how that's gonna turn out. They're probably both gonna die. Of course, in the comics, nothing like this happens, so this is original, but I just think that obviously the plan is not gonna go well, but I think Rosita is gonna get Sasha killed with her stupid plans. So I just hope that they get out of it, or at least they change their minds, because I just don't want Sasha to die. She's very important. She is the sniper of the group. She's the sharpshooter, and they can very well use her in the war. So I just hope they don't kill her off. I hope Rosita is the one to go, because she's been annoying and we're not going to really miss her. But like I said, I just hope things go well. If they end up doing something, obviously it's not. And then the end of the episode, of course, we have Tara talking to Rick, and it seems like Tara is in fact going to tell Rick about the ocean side, so that's going to be very cool. I'm really looking forward to seeing that piece of the puzzle as well. But that's basically it for the review. In terms of a rating, I'm going to give this episode a low good rating. It was okay. It was a filler episode. It was slow. It could have been trimmed down. It didn't need some of the elements it had, but it was a slow episode, and we need that sometimes. But I'm gonna stop with this rant. That's it for this video. Thanks for watching. I'll be back for another video.